Here I have some more of my plants. As you can see, the peas here, there's a couple of sweet peas and then a couple of actual garden peas. If I can get them in the viewfinder here. And they're coming up okay. This is my grape, and I need to pick up some more twine and kind of help train him up this lattice work here. The plan is that it'll grow up and over top of the fence here eventually. I'm hoping. These are heirloom variety cucumber. They're round cucumber actually. As you can see, I've had one pea kind of go astray, and it's growing up this cucumber. More onions. As you can see, they grow these little seed bulbs up top. I'm planning to sell some of these this year. The peas are growing quite prolifically. I have to get some of them trained up the vine up the lattice as well. This one's kind of interesting. This is a ivy that grows wild along here, and I found it very interesting. This onion that I'm letting go to seed, the ivy really seems to love it. It's just grown right up there, and I thought it was really interesting companion planting. I like having the onions in the garden because they help keep some pests away. These are potatoes that I planted. The plants are doing quite well. Hopefully we're getting good potatoes growing underneath. Sometimes the problem with the first year in a well composted bed is that the plants will grow really well, but the fruit won't grow very well. For some reason it puts all its energy into plants and seeds, it seems, but then the next year you actually get something. But I am impressed with my harvest so far this year. This is the pond that I'm working on. It's a work in process. It's not done yet. I need to get more stones, but some of these stones are 200-pound rocks, and so it gets to be an easy project to put off when you do most of your work by yourself. I put the fence up along here, and the path goes down. The reason for the fence is kind of obvious. If you have people over and you don't want them to fall into the pond. This is the shell of the second pond. It's actually upside down. It was intended to be a waterfall for another pond, and by turning it upside down I'm going to use it for a second pond, so that the overflow of this pond will go into that pond, just to retain as much water as I can, because if we hit a drought time then I end up turning to some of these ponds for water. I want to put some fruit trees and a bench down along here once this hillside's done. It's just a matter of time as I work on it. As you can see, the partially finished bed here, the cardboard is down, and some of the compost I need to add more in. This is just straight grass I put on. I'll put on some compost over top of it, and hopefully next year this will be ready to plant in. I'll have to finish it off. I like to use logs around my beds, and that way as they break down over time they feed the bed as well. The upper beds are some of my earlier attempts, and I use treated lumber. I am leaving it for now, but I am getting away from using that. I would prefer to be using natural sources that don't have any chemical at all in them. Once again, I can see I need to weed the garden patch. This is the patch that I just broadcast planted. Mix of radishes and spinach, wild oats. My idea is once I get the chickens, which I'm still planning to get, and hopefully a couple of rabbits yet, that it's still a work in process, but it kind of keeps getting put off. It's just not a priority. There's also dill in here, and as you can see, sunflowers along this edge. There are some marigolds planted in here, and they are coming up. And actually, oh, there's one about to flower. The reason for planting them is that they help keep certain pests away. It's just a natural way to do it. And I got those seeds quite easily. I actually found them in a park where every year they plant annuals, and then they dig them all up, throw them away, and then they grab more. So what I did is I grabbed some of the seeds off a couple of the flowers when they were dying in the fall, used them in my garden. Off the flowers for that, I'll get seeds for next year to plant more of that. There's some more Canadian thistle coming up. It's not a great thing, and it's kind of a never-ending battle, but by taking the root and drying it, you can make a tea, and there's several ways you can use it, but it actually is supposed to be really good, scientifically proven, the root of thistles for your liver. So if you like to have a few drinks, you might want to grow some thistles. As you can see, the lettuce is coming up quite well. Well, here's some Swiss chard coming up in here. And this is a radish that is going to seed. I'm letting some of these plants go to seed in here. I picked out some radishes. One the size of a small apple. It was quite impressive. There's a lot of food in here. Down here I've got some Swiss chard. This one here, that's horseradish. I got a start from a neighbor. The potatoes have taken over the garden. It's like a jungle. I could literally lay down in there and hide if I wanted to. There are a few weeds poking up here and there that I need to get rid of, and probably add some more compost. I have been quite happy with the success of what corn did come up. Not as much as I wanted came up, but I did have some, and it is growing. We'll see if we have a long enough growing season to maybe get some popcorn and some seeds for next year as well. As you can see there's the animal shed in progress. Along the back there, I'm working on the outer part of what will be the chicken coop. This is all with scrap lumber that I'm using, and I know at the moment it looks like it, but I want to clean up, take off the rest of the old siding, and actually paint it so that it's somewhat aesthetically pleasing. The water tank, as you can see, it's about 3/4 full. Next rain I'll plug in the pump and refill it. I have a hose going off there that I can gravity feed about 50% of the yard. Here in the little compost hothouse, as you can see, the old windows are starting to break out. We had some hail the other night. Thankfully it was small. It did do some damage to the plants, but it didn't destroy them. I'm slowly refilling the compost, but at the same time I'm trying to add compost to beds that need it. This is the mystery compost plant. I believe it's a squash or something, and obviously it's doing quite well, so hopefully it'll bear some good fruit for us. As you can see, the raspberries, they're doing quite well. I probably won't see any fruit from them this year, but maybe next year. And they did spread out some this year, which is a good sign, and they will continue to spread and probably almost fill this small area. Here's the rhubarb that I planted this year, and this is the one bed that I didn't sheet mulch, and as you can see, it's just weeds. Unfortunately, this is a bed that has been kind of neglected this year, and so I need to give it some time. There are some peas planted in here, intended for them to grow up the hedge. We'll see how they do. Looks like only 1 or 2 came up, so it might not be one of my more successful experiments, but at the same time they're in a neglected bed, so there's been no sheet mulch or